Welcome to part 2 of movement breaks to increase your productivity, creativity, and mood. So I want to thank you for coming over, and I'm assuming that you were part of the Business Mom Summit, or maybe you saw in my resource hub the part 1 of the event. And so in part 1, movement breaks to supercharge your productivity, creativity, and mood, I talked about how we can use movement to kind of talk to the back of our brain and help us be more alert and help us feel better. And when I recorded part 1, we weren't experiencing a pandemic. And now, in part 2, we are in week 6 of safe distancing and isolating at home, and we're all experiencing these different moods, and it's hard to regulate, and there's a lot of change in our lives. So it's really important that you use a check-in to figure out where you are feeling. Are you in the green zone or the blue zone or the yellow zone? And so I've included in this part 2 a resource where you can check in every day. And I would encourage you to check in over a week and see how you're feeling at different times of the day. Are you the type of person that gets out of bed and you've got tons of energy and you're super productive and super creative? If you are, then that's a great time for you to start working on those big projects that need lots of creativity and focus. But if you're not super creative in the morning, find that time in the day when you are more creative or more productive. When are you more apt to be in that green zone? Because that's when you want to do your productive work, when you want to sit down and create workshops or coaching courses or whatever it is as a business mom that you're creating. So find those times. Now, if you're noticing that there aren't times in your day when you're super productive, that's okay. But you could use some movement breaks that we talked about in part 1, those heavy work activities. And I've also included some of those resources here in part 2. So find those times when you are in the green zone. And if there aren't times when you're in the green zone, then find activities that will help you get in the green zone. And so heavy work is another word for proprioception, which is another word for giving input to your muscles and joints. And so as adults, heavy work is like working out, doing push-ups and doing squats and lifting weights, and even like jumping. When we're doing housework and chores, we're doing heavy work because we're lifting and we're pushing and we're pulling. And that all, even if we don't like those activities, it all helps us to self-regulate, which is getting into that green zone. So maybe you need to do some yoga before you're creative. Maybe you need to get your housework done before you can be creative. It's very specific to you. So I can't tell you what you need to do, but I can encourage you to go through the adult sensory motor checklist, which will help you identify when or which activities tend to increase your level of arousal or alertness and which activities calm you down. Okay, so maybe when you're driving in the car and you need to stay awake, you're chewing on licorice. Well, maybe if you're doing a presentation, you need to chew on something as well to help you stay focused. Maybe you need some background noise to keep you awake and alert. Or maybe you need to wear noise canceling headphones. It depends on you. So go through that sensory motor checklist and fill it out, and it's going to help you know what activities increase your alertness and which activities calm you down. And you might then take that activity, so that sensory motor checklist, and take your regulation, your guide, can't remember what I called it, your zones throughout the day check-in. So do your zones throughout the day check-in, see where you're at, where your highs and lows are, and combine that with your preferences. And when there's lows, you're going to put in activities that are increasing your alertness. And when there's highs, you're going to put in activities that are going to bring your alertness down. I hope this makes sense for you. And if it doesn't, I would encourage you to reach out. Send me an email. We can hop on a consultation call. I love talking about this stuff. And sometimes I forget that I've been learning this for 20 years and it maybe doesn't come as easily to you. So please reach out. I would love to chat with you some more about this. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was your workspace. Now, you can see this is my workspace and it's not ideal, but I would encourage you to find a space that has that excellent environment that is going to make you productive. It might include standing. So a standing desk is going to make you more productive because standing, our brain is 80% more fired up. So get a standing desk or get a space where you can stand and walk around. That's going to fire up your brain. You can experiment with different types of chairs. I have a swivel chair right here, but you might want a chair that allows you to move a little bit more, like a ball chair or a leaning chair that kind of perches. And I will include some of those links in the downloads. So check out the modules, have a walk around. I don't have a specific course here for you that's going to walk you through step-by-steps because I feel like the resources are, they're there. That's what you need to do. You need to sit down and do a little bit of homework to figure out what your sensory preferences are, what zones you're in throughout the day, and which activities make you feel high and low. So that's the same as the preferences, but which activities are going to increase your arousal, which activities are going to decrease your arousal. Please reach out if you do have questions. I'm here to help.